divorce, a nasty separation of two peeps out of marriage, wedlock. It's the children that get hurt the most. But in this, the kids do most of the hurt in The Brood, 1979. Written and directed by David Cronenberg, who was inspired by his own nasty-ass divorce, made a chilling, gross-out horror flick that is a classic, all-time great gore with powerhouse acting from Sammy Hagar, Disney's Hercules fame, as Nola, Ollie Reed, Gladiator fame, as Hal, Art Hindell, Porky's fame, as Frank, and a big shout out to Cindy Hines as Girl Who Battles Evil Dwarf Kids, with music done by the great Howard Shore, who did most, if not all, of David Cronenberg's movies except maybe one or two. Gives this movie the premier sci-fi horror movie gore that Cronenberg has stated as his best horror film he has ever made. With help from Ellen Cotter's special effects, makes it possible that Cronenberg is indeed accurate on that statement. The pace and tone and visuals of The Brood 1979 is for damn sure a Cronenberg pace and tone visualized flick with all the cool as hell gore as only Cronenberg can do, with set designs in the beautiful Mississauga, Ontario, as well as the city of Toronto, with also the kick-ass MagDeer studio to boot. That's where SCTV Network was filmed, folks. This movie is a must-watch. Oh lordy, oh, what are you talking about? The Brood, 1979, eh? Oh boy, we got ourselves a humdinger of a movie here. Oh, let me tell you. Oh boy, hey, I'm gonna tell you. Forgive me. I'm Kan Nadda. I'm a friend of King of the Canadian Hill. He's a good egg. Good friend. He's not really a friend, but he's a good guy. Oh, let me tell you something. He asked me to come on and review The Brood 1979. I certainly remember this movie. Oh boy, let me tell you. When he was talking about the movie, I was afraid, and I'm not a big fan of it. I was like, oh no, don't let me review this movie, because I remember watching this movie a long time ago, and I was very scared. And I don't want to watch this movie, so just to make him happy, and I'm sorry about this King of Canada Hill, but I didn't watch it, so I know there's no review here, and it's just what it is. I know I'm a hoser, and I hope you forgive me, but it just is, it is what it is. But I remember watching it when I was a kid, a long time ago, and from what I remember, there was a lot of Mississauga in it, and I love Mississauga. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. It was, that was a nice little place there. They had got some art galleries and stuff there. I think there's a nice civic center as well, and I was tickled pink on that. And I remember looking at, and I'm like, oh, that's Ollie Reed there, and Ollie Reed, he's a good British egg too, and I was like, that's great stuff right there. Oh, and then that Samantha Agar, she was a great actress too, and scary, but those little kids running around doing whatever they gotta do. And I don't think they were really kids. They're like demon dwarves. And I'm like, that's too scary for all those demon dwarves. Scared the crap out of me. The bejesus right out of me. Scared the bejesus right out of me. And old Art Hindle, he's running around trying to help his daughter out, and he's getting murdered or near murdered. He got near murdered by those demon dwarf kid thingies, and it's just gross. And I'm a big fan of Cronenberg. He's a good Canadian egg too, but I don't know what you're talking about when you gotta be, doing all that gory stuff. It's gross. And they got like this undertone of divorce and parenting problems and all that such. And I can't handle it. Just don't like that. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is, and that's what it is. So that's what I kind of remember of it. Oh, I remember Toronto. There's a lot of Toronto stuff there. That's a good city too. I haven't been down that city in a long while. Long while. Don't know if I'm going to go ever down there ever again. It's okay. I like it up here. It's the Great White North for me. Always will be. Always will be. But that's about it. So now I do realize that I'm doing a very big disservice, and I'm sorry. It is indeed 2021, and the last time I did see this movie was the year it came out, 1979. So my memory might be a little foggy, but it's okay. I think it's okay, and I think I remember most of the good stuff. So that's about it. That's all I'm gonna talk about today, and I'll see you later. Oh, and I like that Howard Shore fella. He's a good fella, and he makes creepy music, and I was really creeped out by it. The whole thing creeped me out. He creeps me out. Okay, I got no Twitters or Instagrams, nothing like that. No. So we're gonna move on, and that's about it. Okay, Kan Nadda, signing off. Have a good one. Have a good day. Thank you, Kan Nadda, for 5 minutes? 5 minutes of whatever, of a review that was back in 1979, from when you remember watching this movie once. Thank you. You can't always depend on your friends. Yeah, I think that's the main lesson here. It is, but it's okay. We'll move on. I'll take the brunt of this, because I did watch The Brood 1979. It is an amazing movie. It's absolutely one of the premier, as the intro guy said, premier horror movies. It's labeled under sci-fi horror. I guess so. I don't know what sci-fi. When I think sci-fi, it's I think aliens and creatures from another dimension and stuff like that. I mean, maybe Nola's giving birth to creatures from another dimension. Maybe that's what Cronenberg was going for, but nevertheless, so it's about a psychiatrist using verbally abusive techniques, verbally and for the most part physically abusing his patients to the point where the body starts to transform itself into something completely gross and insane. That's what I got from the movie. From the very beginning of this movie, you look at Oliver Reed shaking Dr. Hal Regland shaking his patient, and his patient starts developing these welts all across his body and his face. And then when you visit another one of the patients, there's like the lymphoma coming out of his throat and all that. So it's like the body's going into overdrive through this evil man just is insulting you and bullying you and verbally abusing you, and that's how I saw it. Where's the sci-fi in it? I don't know, but it's some of it's labeled sci-fi, but whatever, take it for what it is. Maybe Cronenberg likes it as sci-fi, but nevertheless, he verbally bullies his way across Nola, played by Samantha Eggar, and then as you see as the movie goes on, and as everything kind of unfolds, you see that she's transformed as well through past problems with parenting. She's developed some sort of weird mutant brood, and it's absolutely unnerving and disgusting and gross. And this brood does heinous things to all people involved in Nola's little life there. And it's awesome too, because you look at a movie like this, and not only is the horror aspect just of the monster attacking the protagonists of this film, but it's also the horror of watching a little girl, a little child getting mentally and physically abused throughout the film as well. There's bruises, there's welts, there's the distress of a father trying to figure out why his daughter has bruises all over her body, and what's happening and why is his wife mentally breaking down even further. It's a horrifying look into parents trying to deal with their child being hurt both mentally and physically, and it's absolutely unnerving throughout the whole movie. That's the underlying horror aspect of The Brood 1979. It's you have the little monsters running around, but the main horror part for me rather is seeing this poor child played insanely well by Cindy Hines. She seemed to be happy, and everyone seemed to be having a good time. So it just convinces me how fantastic of an actress she is, as like this little girl acted her ass off, because it's traumatizing to me when I was viewing this poor little girl just stunned, quiet, tears rolling down, screaming, just in shock the entire movie. It's insane to me. And it's amazing how Art Hindle, from Black Christmas too, I love him in Black Christmas as well. He was the cool boyfriend with the awesome fur jacket, and he was running around trying to catch the killer. He's such a cool actor. But Art plays Father Frank, who he's awesome in this movie. He just loves his daughter so much, and he just wants to figure out what the hell's going on, and what the hell does all this mean in the end. And in the end, he goes to meet his wife, his estranged psychotic wife with this mutant power ability, and it's insane. It's insane, this movie, how good it is. It's amazing what Cronenberg can do. I'm always awestruck, sometimes in a positive way, sometimes in a negative way, of what Cronenberg can do and how he does it. He's polarizing at times, and that's what makes him such a great Canadian director. And I just love the content that he makes, for bad or for good. There's a couple movies I like Cronenberg so much that I just get so bent out of shape by some of the movies and some of the attempts he does. But this is one of the better ones. He did say, with the half-assed research that I did, that this was inspired by the divorce he was going through, and through his child that they were in the midst of separating. So you can tell from a lot of this writing and a lot of this directing that he was doing, that he was putting a lot of his emotions into this as well, feeding into, letting the actors feed into what the director was wanting. And you can see how tense a lot of these scenes are, and it's awesome. I can't. This would be so. Obviously I didn't see this in 1979. I wasn't born yet in 1979, but I remember, I think I was maybe 15, 16 when I first saw this, and it terrified the shit out of me. It really did. There was something about being 15 or 16 at the time I saw this. There was a lot of boring parts to it and a lot of long parts, because I didn't understand yet. I wasn't mature yet to get what type of horror Cronenberg was doing. But I got the living shit scared out of me when I saw these little dwarves, kids running around, going through tight spaces, crawling up on countertops and crap like that, and jumping down on top of you. I had nightmares after watching this, because I was thinking a little dwarf kid was gonna be after me, man. I didn't get that until I didn't get the underlying horror of it, but I got that. And then many years later, when I watched it again, it clicked into me
what the message was, what the hell was going on, what the true horror was, and it freaks me out. And then watching it again for this movie review podcast, wherever the hell this thing I'm doing, man. But it totally got me, and it puts it at an all-time best for horror movies. It's awesome what Cronenberg can do. I cannot say enough. And speaking of what I can't say enough is Mississauga. So a little bit of this movie was filmed in Mississauga. Primarily, a lot of the movie for Sammy Egger was filmed in the Magder Studio in Toronto, Ontario. That's gone now. That's long gone. But SCTV was filmed there. And one of my favorites was filmed was Bob and Doug McKenzie. That's why I invited a guy named Kan Nadda, who was a very Bob and Doug McKenzie sort of guy. So that's why he did the first 5 minutes of this spoiler review, because I love SCTV as a kid, and a big tip of my hat, if I'm wearing a hat, I'm not wearing a hat right now, but a metaphorical tip of the hat to Magder Studio for all they did in the past years, in the, I guess, late 70s, early 80s, when it was bumping. So what does Mississauga offer to you? Because I think the Mississauga scenes of the outside, the psychiatrist cabin, stuff like that, where Nola was residing in the entire movie. I think that was Mississauga as well. What is it? What is Mississauga? I think it's like 10-15 kilometers south of Toronto. Yeah, something like that. There's a lot of cool things in Mississauga. It's a sweet town. I've been to Mississauga so many times, but not actually around Mississauga. You know, I didn't really do adventures around Mississauga. All I've been to, when I went to Mississauga for so many times, I was referring to Mississauga Celebration Square. What is Celebration Square? It's a big giant square in the middle of the city, sort of, that has just a bunch of like snack bars, staged like performing arts. There's like gaming, sports facilities and stuff like that in there as well, like basketball and hockey, crap like that. They do like board game stuff too. I saw one time there's a skate park there I saw, but I was there for a Rib Fest, and I was there for the Raptors championship series as well, when the Toronto Raptors won the NBA championship. They kind of made it, it was the Jurassic Park area in Mississauga, because it was so full in Toronto that me and my buddies, we all went down to Mississauga to partake in the viewing parties there at Mississauga Celebration Square. And that's it. That's all there's an art gallery of Mississauga there too. I've never been there. I've only just been to the Celebration Square. So I can't say much about it, but when driving down there and driving back and being around that square, it's an absolutely awesome place to be. And if you're in Ontario, absolutely visit Mississauga Celebration Square, because it's fun. There's so many cool things you can do there. If you're there around December, there's a really awesome tree lighting ceremony that they do. And then in the summer they got Beach Fest as well. You know, it's cool. It's cool stuff, man. So have fun, have at it in Mississauga. And then the rest is your straight up Toronto stuff. Arts driving around. I recognize Avenue Road is where the school is. I recognize that school. Spadania Steel Streets, when he's driving around trying to get to Burton, his father-in-law, and trying to get back to his daughter. So that was kind of fun. I liked how this movie didn't say, well, we're New York, or we're Chicago, or we're blank American state. I liked how this movie, The Brood 1979, is in Toronto. This movie is Toronto centric, and you have your Toronto police station and stuff like that. So that was cool as well. This movie I can't not get enough of. It's awesome though, because I can't watch this movie again for another like 10 years. I swear to you, that's how disturbing it is to me. But how wonderfully disturbing it is to me, and how it's just so unnerving. And then that end scene where the little girl has the little welts on her arm, just like her mother did when she was a kid, indicating that she herself can be a queen bee. And it's awesome and great. It's a great all-time best horror movie. It's definitely a must-watch horror movie if you have not seen The Brood 1979, written and directed by David Cronenberg. And that's going to do it. So, at the end of the day, what is this movie? I know it's kind of crappy. My review, my review is crappy, but my ratings is just crappier. But I'm going to stick with it because I like it, and you can comment below on your disagreement on that. But is it bootacular? Is it spooktastic? Or is it eerily awesome? And at the end of the day, The Brood 1979 is spooktastic. 100% spooktastic. Absolutely spooktastic. And that's going to do it for this podcast review, whatever the hell this thing is, 20 minutes long sort of thing, of The Brood 1979. Leave a like if you want, share if you want, comment if you want. Yeah, if you want to correct me on a few things, if you want to expand some of the information of things maybe I didn't cover, things I didn't get right, things I didn't get wrong, how bad that impression that Kan Nadda did of Bob and Doug McKenzie. You can do whatever you want, and it's freedom. It's a freedom of comments, man. You know what? It doesn't matter either way, because you know what? Odds are you probably get a like by me. It's all good, man. But that's gonna do it. We'll see you next episode, video, whatever the hell I'm gonna do next. We'll spook you later, and we'll scare you next time.